and it's preparing. And it says we're live and we're just doing the tech.
Awesome.
We're doing the techie thing. Zoom to Facebook. So good.
Beautiful.
Yay. Yay, yay, yay. So, how exciting. Thank you so much, Michelle, for accepting the offer for us to have a glorious goddess conversation, because I am so flipping excited that I am talking not only to a sister, but to a #1 author in Australia on Amazon for the latest book. So that is just so epic. It's so exciting.
Thank you so much, darling.
Oh, you are welcome. So tell us a little bit about your book. Tell us about the writing and how it all came into 3D.
Yeah, well, here is the little book right here. Rising Matriarch. Stories of women who remembered their truth and power. So I was approached by one of my darling, dear soul sisters who had already been co-authoring in a few books, and one lady in particular had addressed her and said, hey Laura, would you like to do a collaboration with a group of women that you specifically draw into your sphere? And as Laura does in her crazy fashion, she said yes. She brought it to myself and another soul sister, Amanda, and said, hey, this is what I've just done. Do you want to take part in that? And everything is always a yes, let's get onto that, because, the three of us get into some deep shenanigans, always dreaming big. And from that, there was that big massive tug of war of, oh my God, what have I just accepted myself into? And this all happened late last year, and there was so much toing and froing from myself. So, a lot of the time there was me just, not going to happen. I'm not going to do this. And Laura just not giving an inch of my bullshit as such. So,
but I'm Laura.
I know, right? She is fierce in her own right, and she will never let you, run away from your highest potential. So, great woman to have in your pocket. But yeah, the process, because of the toing and froing and the denying of, this isn't going to happen, it took me a little bit of time to actually put words down. I initially started with a very cathartic process of, an overview of where I wanted to take the chapter. And then, as luck would have it, my mum took my children for an overnight stay. So I had the whole house to myself for one night. So I'm like, well, I can't waste this opportunity. There is no distractions now, no excuses. I mean, I could have done the housework, but I am not a domestic goddess. So
Not your claiming.
no, that's it. So I totally took that opportunity and, birthed this chapter. So yeah.
That is so ethically exciting. And to actually say yes, even though you were really scared and thought, no way, and you did it. And now on the other side of that, how does that feel?
Look, the other side is so much better. And, as fear huntresses, we know that it's, it is getting to that other side. But it was definitely meeting a lot of resistance within myself, and still on the other side, accepting what is, what has transpired from that. I'm still learning so much just from, participating in this event. Like, it's only been 6 months of a journey, but in that I have grown so much that whilst, and it was a reflection on the weekend, one of the co-authors asked, are you happy with your chapter?
Yeah.
And I said, look, to be honest, the woman who wrote that, that's not me anymore. And whilst there was a moment where, as it was finalized that this was it, this was being sent off to print, I thought, oh shit, should I redo this? Like, should I rewrite this? Because it wasn't resonating with me as it had done a couple of months beforehand. But I trusted that whatever is written on these words, like this paper, is the medicine that is required for someone out there. So, whilst I have noticed there has been a maturing and a development of myself as an author now,
Yeah.
it's, this is where I have started. So I'm not going to deny that, because I know that from that there is going to be so much more to come. So
The first of many, by the sounds of it, Michelle.
well, I know that there is definitely a desire as to how that written aspect plays out is, who knows what will happen. But it's definitely sparked some joy in that process. Reminds me of when I was a little girl, and, I'm sure I'm not alone here, please help me out, writing stories and, creating books and, and obviously authoring them illustrating them as well, because that's the very important part. I absolutely love, adding pictures to my stories. So yeah, that in itself, it's just brought that magic back in of that storytelling.
Oh, how wonderful and how delightful. It sounds like the process ignited that joy and passion again. How beautiful.
Absolutely.
So tell us about your message. Tell us about what your writing, not your process, but the message that you wanted to portray through your written words. What was the one thing?
Reflecting back, a lot of what I had shared is very much about how, whilst circumstances created change for me, it was having sisterhood to support me, was a really huge one for me. And, and learning how to grab and to grow your sisterhood in such a way, because I do touch on in my chapter about that sisterhood wounding and the core wounding from women, how we are pegged against each other, and how that in itself really does play out in a lot of our sisterhoods, our friendships. It can really impact us, and not in a good way. So I have been very blessed to have a great collection of women that support me in my crazy big dreams. And I support them, clearly, because here I am, co-author in a chapter of a book. So, but it has been a life journey of learning, when to say goodbye to sisterhood that isn't supportive, and, creating that nurturing space. So I guess that is my biggest thread there, along with telling of, a significant part in my life that created real change to finding myself on this path, you know, my soul path.
Mm, potent, potent, potent. I can't wait to get my hands on the paper copy and just to read and pour myself into the medicine of this book. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's, you know, each woman has, you know, bled onto these pages. They have not held back. And just to, you know, on Saturday we had our book launch, and just getting to meet, because I hadn't met a lot of the women. I kind of had known them indirectly. But to have a handful of them in that space together and to have conversations and witness their sharing, it was just phenomenal. It is just so potent to see when women gather the magic that can be created. So I know, like, I haven't sat and read all of it yet, but I know that each woman is sharing such delicious content that, you know, we can't be denying that. So,
No, 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 absolutely. I can't wait. And I absolutely love the name of this book, Rising Matriarch.
yes.
That in itself sets the tone for the whole book.
Absolutely. And what better way to release a book than, you know, the day before Mother's Day?
Totally, totally. And how wild and awesome is it that it hasn't even hit the publishing yet? This is just pre-bookings, and it's already hit number 1 in Australia.
We could not believe that. I know Laura sent me a message Tuesday morning, I'm pretty sure it was. And she's like, WTF. And I'm like, oh my God, seriously, how does that happen? Like, we haven't even been sharing the, you know, I only just that day got the link to the digital copy. I didn't even know that we had that available to us yet. I'm like, how on earth are people already pre-ordering this when we, the authors, haven't had access to this? Like, what is this witchcraft? Seriously. It was just so amazing. But it just goes to show that it's time.
It is. Yes,
It really is.
yes, yes, absolutely. And I think women are now very hungry for this information. They really are. They're seeking, they're wanting those conversations, they're wanting to read, they're wanting to connect. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, totally.
absolutely. And I think too, like, it is that rising matriarch, it's coming back into that, you know, owning our power, remembering that we are powerful, you know, not denying that. I know each of us have to meet the discomfort that comes from owning their power. But, you know, to have 24 women sharing a little tiny bit, a snippet into how they have overcome their dance with that, is hopefully inspiration enough for many other women to rise up and claim themselves as the brilliant goddesses they are.
Oh, totally, totally, totally. Love it. So, is there a little piece in your book that you'd like to share with us, Michelle?
Look, I have been scouring this to try and find what would be a really good. Sorry, my cat is coming because he loves hanging out with me. But what would be a really good snippet to share? And so I'm going to just have a quick little look. Okay. There we are. Come on, Shiloh. Sorry, no one needs to see that. Ah, okay. I will start with the ending, because that's a great way of starting, right?
Absolutely.
Chaos precedes change, and this event, while inconvenient, was the change I was seeking. Puzzle pieces fell into place. 13 weeks of displacement from the BMW collision until we moved into the house we would make our home. I never completed the rest of this guided meditation, but I knew whatever forces I had been working with at that time answered my call. From this place, we have begun to build dreams into reality. It has been a beautiful space to nurture our relationship, our family, and ourselves. I have found the slowing down of life and again connecting into nature is what fills my soul the most. It is from this space I invite others to seek out their soul's desires. It may not be easy, but it will be worth it. If you can dream it, you can create it. No longer do I seek guidance outside of myself. And if I do need a sounding board, my closest of friends, my soul sisters, are the ones who I will speak with. Sisterhood is one of the most important connections outside of my family, and it is these amazing women that continue to support me in my big dreams and crazy ideas, just as I do theirs. And this is what the world needs most of all, soul sisters. And I read that from my book right here.
Oh my gosh, I just got a whole load of goosebumps all over myself when you said that. That's exactly what we need. We need soul sisters. We totally do.
We do. Those ones that are willing to dream the big dreams with us and hold our hands and not be afraid of, of what epicness is on the other side. Because, yeah, it's one thing to do it for yourself solo, but it is a completely different thing to have that support.
Yeah, absolutely. That support is where the magic is, and that connection, and that, you know, I don't know about you, but those times where you doubt yourself. Is this even going to happen? Am I worthy of this? Is this a part of it?
Yes.
And then those gorgeous sisters go, of course, yes. Come on. Like,
Absolutely. That's it. It is like having that unconditional love reflected back to you. The voice of the divine that we so often seek out. But here they are in these beautiful angels that are our friends.
totally, totally. A blessing, a big blessing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just basking in that divine radiance. It's just beautiful. And if
It
you
is.
could give if women listening back to this recording, and you could give them one message to inspire, to create the ripple of change for them, what would be something that you would love to share from soul to soul, heart to heart?
Oh, look, it has to be always about, weaving that magic within themselves and trusting in their ability. And, like I say at the very end of my chapter, if at times you don't understand or you don't trust in this, just turn back and look, gaze at me, and I will reflect back to you your brilliance. Because that is truly what Soul Sisters offer, is that reflection of their own light. What you see in another woman and is inspired by is alive in you. It's just having that trust to own it. So that's it. That is that is my message, I guess, in that sense of trusting that what is available to you and what you see in others is already within you.
Already there, isn't it?
That's it. It just could be that untapped potential. You may not recognize it in you just yet.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So let's tell our viewers, the people who are watching back, how they can connect with you. And I know you also, not only an author, but you have like, now correct me if I'm wrong, like something like this. I don't want to get either, is it 23, 27 years of experience in energy medicine?
Yes, yes, yeah, yes. So you are correct in that. I have definitely been working with energy for a long, long time. And it has been a lot more of a disciplined act in my, as I stepped into my 30s, that I really started to master that energy work. But before that, it has always been, it was something that I would really do on the quiet. And now it is, just stepping in and owning that soul aspect of myself. So much so that today it marks my darling firstborn child, my baby boy's 22nd birthday. So happy birthday, Brenton. But from that, I thought I wanted to use that energy because all the time, like his birthday has always been such a potent energy of transformation for me. And so I changed stepping boldly into the witch rather than the intuitive alchemist that I had started to lead with at the end of stepping out of third level. And it was through that beautiful sisterhood going, well, hey, Michelle, it's time that you step into this, and putting some options towards me. And I said, actually, no, let's just go straight, cut out anything else and go straight with the word witch and own it. Because not only is it, who I am, but it is that beautiful acronym that I have been gifted with, that weaving intentions through conscious hearts. Oh. That I know, it was beautiful, a beautiful play on that word. Yeah. And that really is the energy that I'm working with each and every time that somebody sits across from me, and we use the alchemy between us to create that magic. And so that is where I'm at with these days, exclusively online. Very rarely do you get to have that one-to-one in person with me. However, that is always available. I know, again, the shenanigans of my besties, Laura and Amanda. We are actually working at the moment on a retreat that will be happening at the end of the year. Beautiful. So that is in the pipeline at the moment, and that the three of us together is just, it is that coming home of empowering women to empower women. Yeah. So I'm excited for that.
That is so epically exciting. It is to empower women, to empower themselves. There's change, and it's the time for it to happen.
So absolutely.
People watching here think, yes, I need a piece of Michelle. I need that intentional magic of hers.
Yes.
Are you open for one-on-one sessions, or do you have packages available? How do they get to know you? And
initially, I do the interview process through our first one-to-one, and that is our exclusive insight as to how we can work together from that initial session. And that's usually a 90-minute session. So it's a fairly good chunk of time that we really work together at, uncovering some great gold. And then from that, we then have a little debrief a week later, and that's just purely to assess where where they're going from that initial session, because it might not feel like it's huge, but it is. And having that little bit of a recap, then we can really assess from that. All right, what does it look like to work with me one to one in a larger capacity? So that is how my one-to-ones work. That's always from that very initial session. I also have my Initiate Your Witch program that is run twice a year. So, and that is a larger scale, being an open group session. So this is where they really get to understand the laws of the universe and how that plays out for them. And that is a beautiful, opening to the world around them, that magic that is available to them always. So, and through that, there's also a little bundle package that if you would love to do that course, as well as working one-to-one with me, that's available as well. And I find that package is so rewarding in itself, because you're addressing what's coming up for you through each of those modules and being able to exclusively work with me in that instant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because when you do the deep work, there's going to be things that come up. And it
Absolutely.
is, and to actually have the one-on-one being held and witnessed, to hold you in that space, to actually work through that deep work is really potent. Yeah.
100%. And that was what I found was needed for, for my clients as we were going through that initial Initiate Your Witch just finished a couple of, last week. So, I've had lots of endings and great new beginnings happening.
Yeah.
And so from that very first program being run at the beginning of the year, I have learnt so much from that we have then repackaged Initiate for round 2, and where we can really anchor into those sessions that, that is a really potent aspect for those that feel called to, be able to dive into that extra one-to-ones so that they can be scaffolded even deeper.
Oh, just divine, 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 divine. So at any time they can book a intro with you and you have that beautiful time. And then when is your next Initiate Your Witch program?
Initiate is going to be August, so early August. I actually have, which I haven't even, so this is like brand new, haven't even put together announcing as yet, so everyone's hearing it first. Yay. With you.
Lucky us.
I'm offering a 21-day devotion starting at the winter solstice. So that will be 21 days of devoting yourself with me as, as your guide, starting on the 21st of June. So that is, like I said, haven't even advertised. It's in my calendar, but that's as far as I've gotten.
Well, lucky us, lucky the people who will be watching this.
Yes.
Or online, that's coming around. That's, what are we, just over a month away, so it's
I know.
new.
That's it. So I will definitely be giving that link to you, so you can pop it down in your chat, so that everyone that is keen for that, to be a little bit more scaffolded in that 21 days. And that was one thing I learned from, obviously you and I have co-hosted that 40-day sadhana in that growing spiritually fierce movement. But what I have found from that was there was so much gold in that for my initiate program attendees that had jumped into that 40-day devotion, that it really solidified what they were learning. And so I thought, what better way to prime them than to have that 21 days prior to stepping into that container. And, you know, I think just in that self is going to be the gold right there for them to just anchor them right from the moment they're in there.
How divine, how divine. This is just all so delicious and juicy and so potent. So thank you so, so much. We're going to put all those links in below so people can access you and get your book and know
Yes.
all about what your offerings are. And I want to say from my heart to yours, a very big thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your love and your wisdom and your guidance with us today. It is truly a pleasure. And in true goddess style, we share the goddess love together.
We do, we do.
Thank
Thank you so much, Tosca. Thank you for inviting me on to your page and being able to have this beautiful goddess chat. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you.
you.
Always.
Well, big love to you, sister. And I wish and pray for every success for you. Like, it is so exciting.
Thank you, my dear, and right back at you because you know that what we wish for others is that heartfelt reflection back.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Big love to you always. And thank you. Mwah.
Mwah.